Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'll be explaining a topic. As you can see here, the name of the topic is completing square, and we have this in both O-level additional mathematics and also mathematics D. So before starting the video, I would like to request everyone to like, share and subscribe my channel. So let's start. Okay, so as you can see here at the very first stop, I have written two formulas here which we all are familiar with. So it's a plus b whole square and then a minus b whole square. The formula for a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square, and a minus b whole square is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So this form, this is the expanded form. Like this form is the expanded form, and this one here, as you can see, this is the completing square form. So you will be given this expanded form and we will be told to convert this to this form, which is basically the completing square form. We have to do the reverse case here. So here are certain points that we have to remember. So in case of completing square, you will be either asked to find out the maximum point or the minimum point. So maximum point comes from the maximum curve, which is the maximum turning point. As you can see here, I've drawn a graph here. This is a maximum curve. So if this is the maximum curve, this turning point here is the maximum point of the maximum curve, or we can say that this is the maximum turning point. Similarly, for minimum point, this is the minimum curve, and as you can see here, the minimum curve looks like this always, and this is the minimum turning point. So we call it either minimum point or minimum turning point. So in case of completing square, in order to find the maximum point, the completing square will be in this form. There will be always a minus sign before x. So there is one, this is one of the most easiest way to identify whether this equation is an equation of a maximum curve or the equation of a minimum curve, because if you see a minus sign at the very beginning, you will know that it is already, or it is actually a maximum curve. It is actually a maximum curve. Okay, and if there is a positive sign here, if there is a positive sign before x square, you will know that this is a minimum curve. So by seeing a negative and a positive, you can easily identify whether this equation is the equation of a maximum curve or the equation of a minimum curve. And the completing square form looks like this. For maximum curve, there will be a minus sign, so x plus a whole square plus b, where we have to find a and b. And similarly, for minimum curve, it's x plus a whole square plus b, so the minimum point is minus ab. So I would like to tell another thing, and that is this b is actually the value of y here, the value of y. And in order to find out the value of x, you see the expression inside the bracket, which is x plus a, we hold this as equals to 0, like we write x plus a equals to 0. So when we subtract a, we get minus a here. So minus a is the value of x, and the value of y here is b. So the maximum point of x, like the maximum value of x is minus a, and the maximum value of y is b. So we can write the coordinate as minus a comma b, and same goes for the minimum curve. So here I've given some examples. Like the question can ask you state the maximum or minimum value of y for its value of x, or the question can ask you state the maximum or minimum point, or the question might even ask you state the maximum or minimum turning point of the curve. All of these are the same questions, they mean the same thing. So like here, as you can see, I've done one for you guys. So the question is y equals x minus 5 whole square plus 5. So by seeing the equation, we already know that this is a minimum curve because there's a positive sign here in front. So it's obviously a minimum point. And in order to find out the coordinate, so we know that this value is always the value of y, and in order to find the value of x, we take the expression inside the bracket, which is x minus 5, and we equal that to 0. So here I've done it here, x minus 5 equals to 0. So my x value is 5. So the minimum point is 5, the x is 5 and y is also 5. Or you can write your answer like this: minimum value of y is 5 at x equals to 5, where I have found out x by equaling the expression inside the bracket to 0, where I subjected x. So let's do the second one. So as you can see here, in the second one, it starts with a negative sign. So we already know, since it's starting with a negative sign, it's a maximum point. So we write here maximum point, and for the value of x, what do? We equal the expression inside the bracket to 0. So we write x plus 6 equals 0. So this gives me x equals minus 6. So the maximum point will be of x will be minus 6, and y is this one, which is minus 6. Again, this one we already know again that this is a minimum curve. And how? You can see that the constant, this question starts with the constant, whereas this question starts with the square number. So the very first thing you have to remember is that if the square form should be at the first and the constant should be at the last. So if it's not in this form, you have to rearrange the question first. So first I write it like this, I rearrange it. So it's 3x plus 4 whole square minus 3. Now I can easily state what's my maximum point and the minimum point. So by seeing the equation, as you can see at the front, there is a positive sign. So it's obviously a minimum point, at the value of y here is, as you can see, it's minus 3. And in order to find the value of x, we equal this one to 0. So 3x plus 4 equals 0. That gives us minus 4 over 3. So the minimum point is minus 4 over 3 comma minus 3. And the last one here is also, this is also not arranged in a proper manner. So what do? We first arrange it. So we write minus 2x plus 5 whole square minus 2. So now I have arranged this, and as you can see here, before the square expression there is a negative sign. So this is obviously a maximum curve. So I'll get a maximum point. And for this we will again, in order to find the value of x, we will equal this one to 0. So 2x plus 5 equals 0. That leaves me with minus 5 over 2. So the value of x is minus 5 over 2. And the value of y here, as you can see here, is minus 2. So that's how you identify the maximum point and minimum point by using completing square. Now let's move on to the next part. So as you can see here, there are 4 questions, and this is the expanded version of a plus b whole square or a minus b whole square, and we have to convert this into completing square. So how do we actually do this? So I'll be showing you the first sum, and I would like everyone to take your pen and paper and do it with me. Okay, so let's start. The very first rule is, as you can see here, the question tells you this is the equation 3x squared minus 4x plus 5, and we have to do the completing square and write it in this form. So this is obviously a completing square form, as you know, we have done it earlier. So how do we convert this entire thing into this form? So the very first thing that you have to do is you have to take common. Whatever you have in front of x square, whatever you have in front of x square, we have to take that number or sign as common, whatever we have in front of x square. So here in front of x square, I have 3. So I'll take 3 as common. So if I take 3 as common, I have x square minus 4 over 3x plus 5 over 3. So after taking common, I have this. Now I have to move on to the next step, and the next step is the 3 remains the same. Then you put a third bracket. This x square actually represents a square. So we know that the form is a square plus, since there is a minus here, it will be a minus 2ab plus b square formula. So here a is x square, as you can see. So I write x square as it is, then minus, since there's a minus sign, then 2ab. So if a is x here, then 2 into x, and we don't know the value for b here. So this is what we have to find out. So 2x into, now we have to introduce the value of b in such a way so that if we multiply that number with 2x, we get the same number that we have here in the middle, which is 4 over 3x. So in order to do that, you know that if we multiply 2 by 3 with 2x, we end up with 4 by 3x. Then what we do, the number that we have just introduced, which is the b here, we square that number, then we keep plus 5 over 3 in the middle, then we again subtract it with the number that we introduced, the third, then close with the third bracket. So this is how we actually break it down in order to convert to completing square. So like x square, x square will always be a, the x will represent a all the time. Then according to the formula 2ab, 2 is the formula, because of the formula there is a 2, and a is always x. So b, so this actually b is the number that you have to find out, like after multiplying with 2x, so that I get the same number I have in the middle. Then what's the next step? Then 3 remains the same. So I give a first bracket, x, since there's a minus sign, so minus the one that we have just written, like the b part, minus 2 by 3 whole square. And then what we do, we use our calculator, and then we put the last 2 values in the calculator. So that's how we do it. So in the calculator, I will be placing 5 over 3 minus 2 over 3 whole, 2 over 3 whole square. So that gives me 11 over 9. So plus 11 over 9. Then lastly, we remove the third brackets and this 3 gets multiplied with both of them. So 3x minus 2 over 3 whole square plus 11. So this is my completing square form. And from this form, I can easily say that this is a minimum curve because the first, it starts with a positive sign. So the minimum point here is x will be x minus 2 by 3 equals 0. So that gives me x equals 2 over 3. Then the value of y here is 11. So this is a minimum point at x equals to 2 by 3 and y equals to 11. Now let's move on to the second one. So here, as you can see, I have nothing in front of x squared. So there is nothing to take common. So x squared remains the same. Then since there's a minus sign here, minus, then again 2ab. So 2 into x, this will always remain same. 2 is for because of the formula and x is always here, this one a. Then b. So we have to multiply a number, we have to introduce a number so that when we multiply that number with 2x, we end up with 10x in the middle. So I can easily multiply 5 with 2x so that I get a 10x in the middle. So now the number that I have introduced, I will plus first the square of it with 30 in the middle. Then again, I will subtract this number, which is minus 5. Then what's the next step? Again, x minus the one that we have introduced. So x minus 5 whole square. And in the calculator, we again place the last two values in the calculator. So it's 30 minus 25, which is plus 5. So this is my completing square of this one. So by seeing the equation, we can again state that this is a minimum, this will give us a minimum point at x equals to 5 and also y equals to 5, and x we found out by x minus 5 equals 0. So that will give me x equals 5. Now let's come to this one. So here you can see that the x square is at the very last. So we know that this is not arranged in a proper manner. So the very first thing we have to do, we have to arrange this equation. We have to bring the x square first. X should be in the middle and the constant should be at the last. So it's 2x squared minus 5x minus 1. So I have rearranged it and now I can start doing the completing square. So since there is a 2 here now in front of x square, we have to take 2 as common. So I take 2 as common, I introduce a third bracket. So what am I left with? X square minus 5 over 2x minus half. Then the next step is to introduce the b. So x square minus 2 into x into. Now the value of b should be a number so that when I multiply with 2x, I get 5 by 2 in the middle. So I can write as 5 over 4. So if I multiply with 5 over 4 with 2x, I will get 5 by 2 in the middle. Now the number that we have introduced, this b, we plus it first, we plus it square first with the minus half in the middle, then again minus 5 by 4 whole square. Like we have to add first and then subtract, keeping the constant in the middle. So the last step, the third bracket. So I can now directly write x. Since there's a minus here, I give a minus sign. The new value that I have introduced, which is 5 by 4 whole square, and in the calculator I place these two values. So it's minus half minus 5 over 4 whole square. That gives me minus 33 over 16. And now I remove the third bracket, so this 2 gets multiplied with both of them. So 2x minus 5 by 4 whole square minus 33 over 8. So this is my completing square form, and by seeing this I again know that this is a minimum point. So minimum point at x equals to 5 over 4 and y equals to minus 33 over 8. So like here I got x by equaling this part equals to 0. So x minus 5 by 4 equals 0. That gives me x equals 5 over 4. Then comes the last one. Again, the x square is at the last. So this is not in the correct order. So we first rearrange them. We take the minus x square at first, then minus 3x, then plus 14. Now we can start our completing square. And now as you can see here, there's a minus sign in front of x square. So we have to take that minus sign as common. So if I take minus sign as common, I am left with x square plus 3x minus 14 inside the bracket. So minus x square remains as it is. Then since there's a plus sign here, plus 2ab, so 2 into x into b. b should be a number, so that when I multiply with 2x, I get 3 in the middle. So I can give 3 by 2. So plus 3 by 2 whole square, this number, the number that we just introduced, then minus 14 in the middle, then minus 3 over 2 whole square. Third bracket closed. Then the minus remains same. Then I can directly write x. Since there's a plus sign here this time, I give a plus sign, and the number that we just introduced, 3 by 2 whole square, and in the calculator we place the last two numbers. So minus 14 minus 3 over 2 whole square, that gives me 65 by 4. And then I remove the third bracket, so this minus sign gets multiplied with both of them. So it's minus x plus 3 over 2 whole square, and minus minus becomes plus 65 over 4. So by seeing a negative sign here, we know that this is a maximum point, and the point is minus 3 over 2, 65 over 4. And we know that how we got minus 3 over 2, we equaled this one to 0, x plus 3 equals 0. So 3 by 2 equals 0. So x, that leaves us with minus 3 by 2. So this was the end of this video. Thank you for watching till the end, and stay tuned because I'll be showing some questions from the question paper based on completing square.